Club Q suspect officially charged with hate crime and murder.
No longer shielding their once beaten and bruised face, the Club Q shooting suspect appeared in court Tuesday morning and heard the charges. 305 counts in total, the most filed in a mass shooting case in Colorado.
When you file 305 counts in a case, that tells the public, this community, this state, and this nation that we are taking this case as serious as we possibly can.
They include multiple counts of murder, attempted murder, and bias-motivated crimes for what happened the night of November 20th in Colorado Springs.
We're not going to tolerate actions against community members based on their sexual identity, those types of things. Members of that community have been harassed, intimidated, and abused for too long. That's not going to occur in the 4th Judicial District.
If convicted, just on the murder charges alone, the suspect could spend life in prison without parole.
They will serve the remainder of their life in prison without breathing free air again.
But it may be a while before the families of the 5 people killed in the mass shooting and those injured get justice.
We have a lot of obligations already, both of us, that are going to make it difficult to get something scheduled in early spring.
The defense already signaled it hasn't yet received much of the evidence it needs to make its case.
We are not going to be ready. We will not be effective on that date.
The suspected Club Q shooter has now been officially charged with murder of 5 people at the LGBTQ+ club in Colorado Springs. On Tuesday, December 6th, suspect Anderson Lee Aldrich was formally charged with 305 counts that include first-degree murder, assault, attempted murder, and bias-motivated crime, which is just another word for hate crime. According to a report from CNN, Aldrich appeared wearing a prison jumpsuit in court as District Attorney Michael Allen detailed the formal charges. 5 people were murdered at Club Q on November 19th. Ashley Paugh, Daniel Aston, Derrick Rump, Kelly Loving, and Raymond Green Vance. Nearly 20 other individuals were injured and sustained gunshot wounds. As previously reported, a military veteran and a trans woman managed to hold down the gunman and slam the pistol down his skull in order to stop these senseless acts of violence against the LGBTQ+ community at Club Q. Formally charging Aldrich with these counts is the first step in a long legal process that will lead up to a preliminary hearing and a subsequent trial. That preliminary hearing has been set for February 22nd, 2023. So there's still a long way for this process to go. Our hope is that justice is served for the victims of Club Q and their loved ones. I'm so sorry to those families, and I'm honestly just so tired of hearing stories like these over and over again.
Yep.
And for it to take so long for justice to be properly served. And I hope that, as they said in the interview, he sits in jail for the rest of his life.
Well, he you know, they say the prelim is set for mid-February. That probably won't happen.
No,
this is going to be delayed and delayed. So this story is going to be around for a while, but he's not out. He's not going to get bond.
He's still sitting in.
He is going to be a thing. Yes. Carmel?
Well, for me, I'm just like, it's like this highlight. It's another story like this, and unfortunately, what really worries me is this is just the beginning of this type of hate, active violence against our community. And I'm not saying wishing that happened, but just saying this shooting right here in the rhetoric that's coming around from the Republican Party, and then all these stories of people, and of course these bills against, and the state here that for me, it just makes me worried that we're going to possibly see more violence.
It takes one fuse to be lit for the rest of them to explode. So honestly, we have to sit back and cross our fingers that nothing else goes wrong.
And we can squarely point that blame at some people who are using us as punching bags. LGBT. I mean, first the gays, and then the next thing, the women, and then the Jewish people. We're always somewhat of punching bag. And now, thanks to certain celebrities, the hate is not even, hidden anymore. It used to be, it's now fanned, it's now open, it's declared mightily on Twitter, and allowed in, and broadcasted, and propagated, and spread by the chief twit himself, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'd like to bring this back to something positive out of this story. The people who held down the gunman, and
that's a feat in itself.
And one of them was a trans person, and that takes me back to Stonewall,
And who started?
And who started Stonewall? Who threw the first bricks?
We're the first one here. We're the first to
Yes.
jump in, and I'm not surprised that it was a trans woman that jumped in. I mean, I was when we were doing the read through. I said, if it was me, that guy wouldn't be standing.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Believe
Yeah.
me.
He wouldn't have walked out
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. There won't be a match, but yeah, looking for the silver lining that. The first were the black trans women. Trans women were the first to stand up, and that's silver lining.
And before we move on, I just want to, I'm sorry, do you want to say something?
No, I was going to say, and I'm sorry to bring it back down from the positive, but the reality is that the repercussions are not severe enough. Putting someone in jail for their life is not enough for taking the lives of multiple people, for going into a space and just flat out shooting to hit and kill just because you don't like who they are. And harming, exactly. Something needs to be needs to be done so that people who even consider this think twice about
Gun
it.
control.
That's
That's the gun control issue.
And I'm sorry, I don't have an opinion really. I struggle with death penalty. But if you have the audacity to go in and take people's lives from them, you should go in knowing that that's what's going to happen to you. It is unacceptable. And you shouldn't have access to these weapons.
Shouldn't have access to
It is unacceptable. And for me, I think it hits close to home for all of us, right? Because we're queer people. We know that this happened in our own state, when the Pulse massacre occurred. But I run a community organization. I could run a community center. My doors are open for anybody to come in and access services. Who's to say that one of these people isn't going to walk into our center and do the same there? And centers across the country. They need to have fear.
And not just that, the shooter is only the tip of the spear here. What is propelling that tip are the politicians and media personalities who spread hate and disgust. Fear-mongering. They are basically practicing domestic terrorism, demonizing.
They're absolutely domestic terrorists.
Absolutely.
They're demonizing an out group in order to improve their own political and social standing. In other words, why are we not? Yes, free speech is great and all, but when is the speech becoming acts of terror?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can't yell fire in a theater, but that's a lot of what social media is. It's yelling lies and stoking fears and things like that. But before we move on, I just want to say the names of the victims one more time, because they deserve to be remembered more than just a line. We need to say their names more than we say the name of the person who's accused of killing them. And that's Ashley Paugh, Daniel Aston, Derrick Rump, Kelly Loving, and Raymond Green Vance.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.